There's a certain kind of person who loves cats. Not casually, not accidentally, but deeply, with a softness they don't always show the world. People who love cats are often people who understand what it feels like to move through life quietly, carefully, sometimes invisibly. And maybe that's why this story is really about you, and the parts of yourself you don't always let others see. You see, the psychology of people who love cats is not simply about pets or preferences. It's about temperament, emotional landscapes, and the subtle, intricate ways we form attachments. It's about the ones who don't seek loud attention, who don't need chaos or approval or the world's applause to feel complete. It's about the hearts that beat quietly but deeply. If you love cats, truly love them, then chances are you're someone who recognizes the value of gentleness in a world that often rewards the opposite. You're someone who understands patience, because with cats, nothing can be rushed. Trust must be earned slowly, like a flower opening one petal at a time. And maybe that mirrors something inside you, a longing to be approached gently, to be understood without being pushed, to be loved without being forced to perform. Maybe you've always been that way. The child who preferred quiet corners, the teenager who felt things intensely but rarely voiced them, the adult who loves deeply but in private, whose affection isn't loud but loyal. And cats, in their quiet, mysterious way, reflect that back. Psychologists talk about attachment styles, how we bond with others, how we seek closeness or independence. Cat lovers, interestingly, often embody a blend of both. They crave connection, but also space. They want to love, but in their own time, in their own way, just like the animals they adore. People who love cats tend to have a unique emotional rhythm, one that isn't always obvious to the outside world. They can be introspective, observant, sensitive to details that others overlook. They notice the twitch of an ear, the subtle shift in a cat's posture, the way a tail curls when trust begins to grow. They are attuned to micro-expressions, not only in animals, but in people. They feel the undercurrents in a room before anyone else does. They sense tension, unspoken sadness, quiet joy, and they respond not with noise, but presence. Have you ever wondered why cats are drawn to the person who doesn't approach them first? The psychology behind that is simple, yet profound. Cats gravitate toward non-threatening energy. They trust the quiet observer more than the eager pursuer. And many people who love cats understand this intuitively. They know how to sit patiently and let connection come naturally. They know how to honor another being's boundaries. They know that affection is most beautiful when it is earned, not demanded. And maybe that's how you love people too. Think about the cat lover sitting on a couch at a friend's house. Everyone else reaches out immediately. "Come here, kitty." But the cat walks past all of them and sits next to the quiet one in the corner, the one who made no effort, the one who offered no pressure, the one who simply existed with calm, open energy, the one who understands that some beings bloom in silence. If you are that person, then your love is probably like that too. Soft, patient, intuitive. You're the kind of person who waits for others to feel safe enough to open up. You're the kind of person who knows that real connection is never forced. There's a psychological term for this: low intrusiveness with high responsiveness. In simpler words, you don't overwhelm others, but when they come to you, you're right there, present, attentive, kind, just like a person who forms deep bonds with cats. And maybe that explains why cat lovers often feel misunderstood by people, but completely seen by animals. Cats don't ask you to be louder or funnier or more outgoing. They don't ask you to explain why you're quiet or why you prefer small groups or why you sometimes need time alone. They simply accept you as you are. And sometimes that acceptance feels more unconditional than what we get from the world. People who love cats are often the ones who carry quiet wounds. Not always dramatic or visible wounds, just the subtle ones that come from years of being sensitive in a world that often isn't. They might be the children who learned early to self-soothe because the adults around them were overwhelmed, or the teenagers who retreated into books because people felt unpredictable, or the adults who discovered that solitude wasn't loneliness but peace. Cats, with their gentle independence, affirm that it's okay to be like this. They teach you that connection doesn't require constant noise, that love doesn't have to be clingy or dramatic, that presence can be enough. And maybe that's why so many introverts love cats, not because introverts dislike people, but because cats understand a kind of quiet companionship, a shared space where nothing needs to be proven. But cat lovers aren't only introverts. Some are extremely social, expressive, and outgoing. What they share, though, is an appreciation for authenticity. Cats don't fake affection. They don't pretend to like you to gain something. And people who love cats value that honesty, perhaps because they wish human relationships were more like that too. There's a psychological concept called unmasked connection. It means the ability to feel close to someone without needing to perform or filter yourself. Cat lovers often crave this deeply. With a cat, you don't have to talk, you don't have to impress, you don't have to be on. You just have to be present, open, and warm. And that feels rare in a world where so much of our identity is performed rather than lived authentically. Another interesting thing, cat lovers often have a higher capacity for empathy, but not the loud, public kind. It's a quieter empathy, attuning to emotional signals that others miss. They're the friend who notices you're upset before you say a word, the colleague who senses you're overwhelmed and steps in gently, the partner who understands your silence without needing an explanation. This empathy is born from reading a creature that speaks only in gesture and glance. It becomes a second language. They're also often dreamers, not necessarily unrealistic, but imaginative. Cats bring out a sense of wonder in the people who love them. The way they move, the way they stare at things no one else sees, the way they chase shadows. It all awakens something childlike, a curiosity about the unseen, the quiet, the mysterious. Cat lovers often have rich inner worlds, ones filled with memories, reflections, and stories they rarely share. And maybe they don't share them because those inner worlds feel too fragile, too sacred. Cats enter those worlds without breaking them. They are the guardians of the quiet mind. Psychologists talk about mirror attachments, the idea that we are drawn to others who reflect parts of ourselves we recognize instinctively. Cat lovers reflect the emotional landscapes of people who value independence but also long for deep bonds. People who want connection without losing themselves. People who appreciate mystery but also crave comfort. People who understand that love doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes this creates misunderstandings. Cat lovers often give what psychologists call warm distance. They care deeply, but they don't smother. They want closeness, but not engulfment. They crave affection, but not theater. So, people who expect big emotional displays may misinterpret this subtlety as coldness or indifference, but really, it's just a different way of loving, a deeper, more considered way. Cat lovers have a boundary intelligence. They understand limits, both theirs and others. They don't chase what doesn't want to be caught. They don't force conversations that aren't ready to be spoken. They don't push themselves into spaces where they're not welcome. They wait, they observe, they respect. And because of this, their relationships, when they deepen, are often incredibly meaningful. Not instant, not flashy, but profound. Because the trust was built slowly, authentically, and with mutual respect. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. Many cat lovers have a specific nurturing side, a quiet reassurance that offers safety, not solutions. They create calm and understand the power of small, subtle gestures. Loving cats teaches you to appreciate life's subtleties. It shows that love doesn't have to be loud. It can live in a soft touch, a shared silence, a loyal, quiet presence. This fosters patience. Cat lovers understand emotional complexity. They adapt when a creature or a person needs space, seeing it not as rejection, but as a natural rhythm. In this way, loving cats builds emotional resilience. They often find beauty in ordinary moments, the sound of purring, a patch of sun. They have rich inner worlds, noticing what others miss. They also value mutual respect, learned from an animal that won't be dominated. They seek relationships of equality, partnerships, not ownership, where both people maintain their individuality. This balance nurtures a secure solitude, a comfort in being alone, because your inner world is a source of peace. Yet they deeply cherish genuine connection, the profound feeling of being chosen and seen. There's something healing in that. Maybe you're someone who knows what it feels like to be misunderstood, called too quiet when really you're just gentle. You love in ways that aren't always loud, and maybe cats showed you that your way is still valid, still beautiful. People who love cats often have a quiet strength. They protect their peace. They love wholeheartedly, but offer their heart slowly, intentionally, the way a cat offers its trust. In the end, the psychology of people who love cats is delicate and deeply human. It's about patience, mutual respect, quiet connection, and emotional authenticity. It's about loving without noise, caring without smothering, and connecting without losing yourself. So maybe this isn't really about cats at all. Maybe it's about you, the quiet, gentle parts that yearn to be understood. Maybe loving cats is just a reflection of how you move through the world, with curiosity, tenderness, and an eye for subtle beauty. And maybe they chose you because they saw what the world sometimes overlooks: softness, depth, patience, a heart that loves quietly but completely. Your way of loving is enough. Your quiet is depth. Your gentleness is strength. The psychology of people who love cats is simple and profound. They are people who love gently, observe deeply, and connect authentically. Maybe that's who you are, and maybe that's who you've always been.